Hello everyone.
Hello, hello.
I'm Tony.
And I'm Tally.
And we are
the Lazy Book Lovers.
This is a podcast for book lovers who procrastinate about reading and have never-ending to-be-read piles. Oh my god, it feels like ages since the last
I was
did that.
literally just about to say,
I
almost
almost forgot our
2 months
intro.
since we've recorded.
It's been a while though.
It's been about
a month.
3 weeks, hasn't it?
3 weeks or a month.
But it feels so much longer than that.
Because I'd only been at my new job like a month last time we recorded, I'm sure.
It was just before half term, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And this was their first week back. So 3 weeks ago-ish.
Oh wow, it felt like longer than that.
Yeah, because literally when we started talking, I was like, "Whoa, it's been so."
I
long
actually almost
since
forgot our
we did
intro.
this. That's crazy. Anyway,
hello. So today's episode is upcoming releases. This is traditionally published releases, so things coming from the big publishing houses. We do regularly do indie book releases. I think our last one was a couple of weeks ago. We'll have another one in a couple of weeks. So tune into them if you're looking for sort of independently published books or books from small publishing houses. These are big name authors, big name publishing houses, upcoming releases.
And if you are a indie published author or you are self-pubbing at the moment or whatever, please feel free to share your book with us so we can mention it or potentially include it for our book group read. Yeah, if it's our only rule is it's indie published and it's available on Kindle Unlimited. So.
Yeah. So you could submit books you want us to talk about in our indie episodes on our website, Lazy Book Lovers, podcast.wordpress.com, or just DM us, honestly.
Yeah.
We check both periodically. Okay, so I've got a few. I don't know if we're going to get through them all. I have filtered on Storygraph by publication date, which sometimes we've found is not 100% reliable, but we're going with what Storygraph says.
Yeah, it depends on what they were uploaded with.
Our first book is The Last Murder at the End of the World, Stuart Turton. I have put in a through thriller murder ones just for you.
Yeah, I have read the first few chapters of this.
Have you? Okay.
Stuart Turton is my bae.
Yeah, I felt the name was familiar, which is why I added it.
In the lead up to this release, I reread his other two and just lived my best life.
Yeah, I thought this was one of yours.
Did you see my little face? Like,
yeah, that's why. Because I remember I read it and I was like, that name feels familiar. I've done. This is fairly biased to our genres mostly.
Yeah.
There's not much contemporary fiction because I feel like that gets enough hype, and that's not really our thing.
We can't really squill over it, so
no,
it's
so
boring.
I've done a bit of romance, bit of fantasy, a bit of murder thriller.
Yeah, perfect.
Our 4 genres.
I am on a thriller binge as well.
Yeah.
As you'll find out next week. Or the week after. One of these weeks.
I think they've got a few weeks to the next reading update.
Well, at some point, just listen every week and you'll find out.
Yeah. You have to listen always now to find out. Okay, so solve the murder to save what's left for the world. Outside the island there is nothing. The world destroyed by a fog that swept through the planet, killing everyone it touched. On the island it is idyllic. 122 villagers and 3 scientists living in peaceful harmony. The villagers are content to fish, farm and feast, to obey their nightly curfew, to do what they're told by the scientists. Until, to the horror of the islanders, one of their beloved scientists is found brutally stabbed to death, and they learn the murder has triggered a lowering of the security system around the island, the only thing that was keeping the fog at bay. If the murder isn't solved within 92 hours, the fog will smother the island and everyone on it, but the security system has also wiped everyone's memories of exactly what happened the night before, which means that someone on the island is a murderer and they don't even know it.
That's the first time I've heard the
because you don't read
synopsis.
you don't read the synopsis.
I've got a really nice copy. It's like the Waterstones special edition, so the edges of a little lighthouse spray painted on them. It's really pretty.
Cute. I did buy the Waterstones edition of
I was
Tempest of
looking
Tea.
at it, yeah. What's the edges look like on that one?
It's like swirly.
Is it the colours? Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Well, this is one of the ones that's signed.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Did you get them vinted?
Yeah. She was like, the person who was selling because I got the Illumicrate version. So never opened, never read. And I was like, sick. £18, thank you very much.
Let me read it.
Ma'am. Okay. This one, I think, is a bit more contemporary of all of them.
Mm.
Table for Two by Amor TowlesThe. Apologies. I haven't researched how to say anyone's names. I will do my best.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a bit of a different description. I reckon this has been pasted from somewhere else. Millions of readers of Amor TowlesThe are in for a treat as he shares some of his shorter fiction, 6 stories set in New York City and a novella in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. The New York stories, most of which are set around the millennium, take up everything? That's a weird phrase. From the death-defying acrobats of male ego to the fateful consequences of brief encounters and the delicate mechanics of the compromise which operates at the heart of modern marriages. In Towles' novel Rules of Civility, the indomitable Evelyn Ross leaves New York City in September 1938 with the intention of returning home to Indiana, but as her train pulls into Chicago, where her parents are waiting, she instead extends her ticket to Los Angeles. Told from 7 points of view, even Hollywood describes how Eve crafts a new future for herself and others in the midst of Hollywood's golden age. Throughout the stories, 2 characters often find themselves sitting across the table from 2 where the direction of their futures may hinge upon what they say to each other next.
Interesting. I've not heard of this author.
It was on a few lists. It was on like that Reader's Digest list I was telling you about that I found. Oh, I need to make sure I credit where I got most of this list from. I did have a little look about, but to be honest, no one had a complete list with dates except this one website. What did I say it was called? Book Queen List.
We'll link it in the description, definitely.
Yeah, because I did get... This person was the only person who had listed, like, a very clear list with dates that wasn't sort of biased to their publishing house or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but this one was on a few others.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
I've never heard of this author,
No, I haven't. Interesting.
So we got The Cemetery of Untold Stories by Julia Alvarez.
Oh, I like cemeteries.
Amor, a celebrated writer at the heart of The Cemetery of Untold Stories, doesn't want to end up like her friend, a novelist who fought so long and hard to finish a book that it threatened her sanity. So when Amor inherits a small plot of land in the Dominican Republic, her homeland, she has a beautiful idea of turning it in a place to bury her untold stories. Literally. She creates a graveyard for the manuscript drafts and revisions and the characters whose lives she tried and failed to bring to life who still haunt her. Amor wants characters to rest in peace, but they have other ideas, and the cemetery becomes a mysterious sanctuary for their true narratives. Filomena, a local woman hired as the groundskeeper, becomes a sympathetic listener as Amor's characters unspool their secret tales. Among them, Bienvenida, the abandoned second wife of dictator Rafael Trujillo, consigned to oblivion by history, and Manuel Cruz, a doctor who fought in the Dominican underground and escaped to the United States. The characters defy their author. They talk back to her and talk to one another behind her back, rewriting and revising themselves. The Cemetery of Untold Stories asks, whose stories get to be told and who's buried? Finally, Amor finds the meaning she and her characters yearn for in the everlasting vitality of stories. Interesting.
That does sound quite interesting.
That's a bit of...
Can you show me the cover so I know what I'm looking out for?
It's all kind of floral and blue, and then just like a white kind of statue-looking head on the ground.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it on my check it out list. Hang on.
Next on my list is...
Do I just start singing as soon
as
you press record?
To yourself as soon as I...
Adventure time, come on, grab your friends.
For those of you...
Copywritten? Copyright?
I feel like that's probably
striked.
not accurate enough for us to get copyright striked.
Excuse me, that was perfect rendition.
So the reason she's...
Singing Adventure Time.
Singing Adventure Time is because I've given her one of my fidget toys that looks like a unicorn.
And it looks like Lady Rainicorn. It's a long unicorn.
So, our next book on the list, staying on topic, on task.
Yeah, we got it.
The Husbands, Holly Gramazio. Gramazio? Gramazio. So this is a debut.
Oh.
When Lauren returns home to her flat in London late one night, she is greeted at the door by her husband, Michael. There's only one problem. She's not married. She's never seen this man before in her life. But according to her friends, her much-approved decor, and the photos on her phone, they've been together for years.
Oh.
As Lauren tries to puzzle out how she could be married to someone she can't remember meeting, Michael goes to the attic to change a light bulb and abruptly disappears. In his place, a new man emerges, and a new, slightly altered life reforms around her. Realising that her attic is creating an infinite supply of husbands, Lauren confronts the question: if swapping lives is as easy as changing a light bulb, how do you know you've taken the right path? When do you stop trying to do better and start actually living? I did not think that's where that was going at all when I saw the title and the book cover. I thought that was going to be like a silly romance.
I think
when I added it,
I would definitely like to have that as an audio.
I bet that is good as an audio. Yeah. Like different voices for
that
the men.
That cover was gorgeous as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to pick that up based on the cover, I reckon.
Well, that cover to me, I was like, oh, this is just a romance.
That also sounds like it would be a good book club pick, Reese Witherspoon's thing or whatever. Yeah. Except I think she just does thrillers, but you know.
Yeah. Apologies, guys, if you can hear that. My Mac is currently having some overheating issues and is sounding like an airplane taking off when I do anything slightly strenuous on it.
You turned it on, I see.
Yeah. So whenever I play Stardew Valley, it genuinely sounds like an airplane.
Yeah.
It's just not coping with Stardew.
I can't play The Sims at all on my laptop because it's so loud and so hot, I just can't.
I mean, this is a bloody Mac. It's only a couple of years old. Yeah. Well, 2018, 2019? That's more than a couple of years.
That's pre-lockdown, pre-COVID.
I was still at my horrible job when I bought that.
So
nice.
That was a long time ago.
£1,300 impulse purchase.
Hashtag ADHD.
Well, that was technically on credit, but paid off in 6 months.
Hashtag ADHD.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Honestly, my issues with impulse spending... Because at the moment, I'm okay money-wise, but I'm trying to save money and sort my shit out.
Yeah.
And my brain is like, hey, when I saw that nice garden centre, I was like, what if we just wandered into a garden centre on a random Saturday and spent £75 on plants? One of which was just already fucking dead.
But you wouldn't know because you didn't actually do that, did you? Because you controlled your impulse.
I didn't do that. I didn't come home.
That was like a what if from that book. You know, that was a different.
That's not something I actually did, and then couldn't buy groceries that week. That did not happen to me.
ADHD.
So next up is Just for the Summer. Oh, part of your word book 3.
Is that Abby Jimenez?
Yeah. I don't think these are connected stories, so I don't think this is going to be a spoiler.
They're just characters that overlap, I think.
Okay.
But they're all happily ever after because they're romance books, so you know.
So this is from the best-selling author of yours truly. Justin has a curse, and thanks to a Reddit thread, it's now all over the internet. Every woman he dates goes on to find their soulmate the second they break up. When a woman slides into his DMs with the same...
That's my life. Every one of my exes has got married to the next person they dated after me.
You were just moulding them. Preparing them. You clearly improved
them.
The
next person just... They were like, shit, this is so much easier. I'm just marrying this one.
Lesson learned. Let's lock this one down. I was trying to be nice to you.
I was just being realistic, whatever.
When a woman slides into his DMs with the same problem, they come up with a plan. They'll date each other and break up. Their curses will cancel each other's out and they're both gone to find the love of their lives. It's a bonkers idea and it just might work.
Wait, so she has a curse as well?
Yeah. Emma hadn't planned that her next assignment as a travelling nurse would be in Minnesota, but she and her best friend agree that dating Justin is just too good of an opportunity to pass up, especially when they get to rent an adorable cottage on a private island in Lake Minnetonka. Sorry, Americans. It does say Minnetonka, so I'm not going to go with that. It's supposed to be a quick thing just for the summer, but when Emma's toxic mother shows up and Justin has to assume guardianship of his 3 siblings...
Oh no!
They're suddenly navigating a lot more than they expected, including catching real feelings for each other. Who could have seen that coming? What if this time fate has actually brought the perfect pair together?
Oh... I've not read anything by Abby Jimenez. But
No, me neither.
I have, when I'm in the mood for romance, I do occasionally...
The cover looks nice.
Look. Oh, that does look really pretty, doesn't it?
It's like a sunset, but it's all like really
Oh,
vibrant.
wait, were they sitting on
primary
like a little
colours.
dinghy or something in the sea?
No, they're like walking through the sea, and there's a
Oh.
dog behind them. There's a dog, guys.
Hashtag does the dog die?
That's a website.
Yeah. DoesTheDogDie.com. They also have a section for cats as well, don't worry.
Good. But people are like, oh, do you ever watch that? I'm like, the dog dies in it. I'm not watching that. Sorry.
Okay.
Especially Marley and me.
I was going to say,
never watching that.
Pure spoiler for a film that came out years ago. But I...
Never.
Okay,
I can never. I had a Labrador. I can't ever watch that.
I saw it at the cinema.
I had 2 Labradors.
And I didn't know. I just... My partner had just told me it's a cute film about a puppy. And I was like, cool. And there's a bit when the dog gets sick, right? And... when the dog got sick, I realised they were going to kill the dog in the film. That was what it was about. The dog didn't die from that being sick.
Yeah.
But because I had that realisation, like 2/3 away through the film, I started crying, ugly crying, wheezing.
Wait, how many dates were there? Had you been on
we
with
were
this guy?
full on like
okay.
couple, yeah. And I was literally like, for the rest of the film, I couldn't stop crying. People were looking round at me in the cinema, and I was like, because it hit me that they were getting. And even though the dog was fine after that bit, until it does eventually die, I couldn't stop crying because I realised that's what they're going to do. So, note to self, don't watch films with dogs.
Yeah, people were like, have you ever watched that? I'm like, no, not for me. I've owned 2 Labradors. And had to put both of those Labradors down due to various things that happened to when they got older. So, and I've been in the room for both of those times. So I've lived that in real life.
I'm done, shit.
Don't need to do that in a film.
Yeah.
Don't need, that's essentially trauma porn at that point for me.
The only films I watch with dogs are kids' films because mostly you're safe.
Yeah. Like even in I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Where the dog, yes, the bit with the dog, I was like, I can't get over that.
Oh, so I used to love the films All Dogs Go to Heaven when I was younger. I've not watched them for years. My son wanted to watch All Dogs Go to Heaven, and I was like, okay, but just to be clear, the film's called All Dogs Go to Heaven because there's going to be dead dogs. They're going to go to heaven.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's cool. And I was like, I need you to understand. And then we watched it and he got really upset and I cried. So I was like, well, this has been successful, hasn't it?
Have you seen these people like film their kids watching Lion King for the first time?
No.
With the bit with the... It's like a thing that was going around on TikTok for a while. And I'm just like, oh, you should have like prepared them.
Yeah. And don't share it. That's mean.
Yes. It's like...
Like sharing it with their grandparents or something is one thing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. It was just this bit where she was like, Mummy, does he wake up? Mummy, does he wake up? And I was like, no.
When I found out my son had watched Lion King, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, but I hadn't prepared you. Where did you watch it with? And he was like, Daddy. And I was like, Daddy.
Well, apparently when I was a kid, so it makes me cry now as an adult, that scene. Apparently when I was a kid, I used to tell my brother would cry, because he's a sensitive soul. Brother would cry at that scene, and apparently I used to tell him, yeah, well, Mum and Dad are going to die one day, so...
I think...
What are you crying for?
I think, like, when you're young as well, you have that, like... A lot of the time you don't have the understanding of death because no one around you has died or whatever. You just don't quite comprehend.
I think at the point where I was saying stuff like that, we hadn't even lost... Because we had great-grandmas that passed when I was young. But that wasn't... One was when I was about 4. Next one when I was about 7.
Yeah.
So, still really quite young.
Yes, like my son's.
And like great-grandmas. It was just a lady's house that I went to like once a month.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a big...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about talking about dead dogs.
How did we even get there?
Marley and me. There's a dog in this book.
Oh, there's a dog on the
probably
cover.
not going to die.
All right. Sorry. Not to bring the tone down, guys.
Yeah, just to work our way backwards there.
Whew. We like to sprinkle in the trauma.
This is our therapy.
Okay, so the next book, which I think we're both going to want.
Tell me more.
The Familiar, Leigh Bardugo.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know anything about this.
No, me neither.
But I have seen the cover quite a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks like
we're big Leigh Bardugo
religious
friends.
traumery.
Let's see.
Because it looks like she's...
it looks like it's holding...
It looks like rosary beads or something, right? I don't know if it is. That's what I remember it being.
No, it kind of looks like... You know, if you've been to a Catholic church and they swing the thing with the
smoke thing.
The smoke
thing. Bomb. Yeah.
And it's on that chain. It kind of reminds me of that, the chain that's in the picture.
Smoke bomb chain. Apologies to
sorry,
anyone
neither of
who
us are religious. We are not
religious.
mocking your religion. We just don't know the words because neither of us have been brought up that way. So, anyway. In a shabby house on a shabby street in the new capital of Madrid, Lucia Cortado uses scraps of magic to get through her day of endless toil and scullion.
Scullion, that's a nice word.
Oh, this must be set in olden times. But when her scheming mistress discovers the lump of a servant cowering in the kitchen is actually hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to better the family's social position. What begins as simple amusement for the bored nobility takes a perilous turn when Lucia garners the notice of Antonio Perez, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king. Still reeling from the defeat of his armada, the king is desperate for any advantage in the war against England's heretic queen, and Perez will stop at nothing to regain the king's favour. Determined to seize this one chance to better her fortunes, Lucia plunges into a world of seers and alchemists, holy men and hucksters, where the lines between magic, science and fraud are never certain, but as her notoriety grows, so does the danger that her Jewish blood will doom her to the Inquisition's wrath. She will have to use every bit of her wit and will to survive, and even if that means enlisting the help of Gillian, it's not his name, Sant'Angelo, an embittered immortal familiar whose own secrets could prove deadly for them both.
That sounds like a horror film I would watch.
So this is like Spanish Inquisition era.
Yeah.
And we're not going to try and talk history because I've been repeatedly told we don't know history accurately.
Yeah, but we never claim we do know it. So
no, that's what
fine.
I say. We're always like, go and Google this yourselves because we know we're wrong.
It's different to her usual stuff then.
Completely different. Yeah. So this is almost historical.
What? Has it got
fantasy.
Historical as its tag?
Fiction, fantasy, historical, dark, emotional, mysterious, medium paced.
Interesting.
This is completely different then.
Yeah, that sounds cool. If you're wondering about the tags, that's on Storygraph. Yeah. I strongly recommend if you don't already have a Storygraph.
Big Storygraph fans on this podcast. Any descriptions we read out are from Storygraph because it's just easier because I could just make a tag list. It was all quite easy.
Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, better. And it's regularly updated, unlike Goodreads.
And it's just more reader friendly.
Well, it's made by a reader.
And not in service to how much Amazon will pay.
Amazon not updated Goodreads since they bought it, I don't think. Like, it's literally, its whole user interface is stuck in, like, the 90s or something.
I love Storygraph. I've never been able to use any of these book tracking apps until Storygraph. I don't know why.
I struggled with Goodreads, yeah. It's just, I've
never enjoyed any of them.
I don't find it very intuitive, the Goodreads one.
And also, if people enter the wrong book on there, it's just there forever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just stuck there.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying when you're trying to search for series I.
Yeah, even if you are the author, you can't amend it or have it taken down.
So this one, getting us back on topic, because I'm aware I've got a few. We're not going to get through all of them, I don't think, but I want to make some decent
Get
roads.
through some, yeah. Let's go.
Okay. This one looks really interesting. Okay. Dragon Fruit by Makiia Lucia. And I am very sure I've said that wrong because that's a specific Islanders person's names. And so please go and do some Googling that I didn't have time to do and I'm very sorry. In the old tales, it is written that the egg of a sea dragon fruit, holds within it the power to undo a person's greatest sorrow. But as with all things that offer hope, when hope had gone, the tale came with a warning. Every wish demands a price. Leigh of Tamarind is the cherished daughter of an old island family. When her father steals a sea dragon egg meant for an ailing princess, she is forced into a life of exile. In the years that follow, Leigh finds solace in studying the majestic sea dragons that roam the Nominomi Sea, Until one day, an encounter with a female dragon offers her what she desires most, a chance to return home and to right a terrible wrong. Oh, I'm going to butcher this name. I'm not actually, you know what? Just because I don't want to disrespect and say the name completely wrong. Because it says a long name, then it says his nickname. So I'm just going to use the nickname. There is a long name in front of this, but I don't want to be ignorant and butcher it. So I'm just going to go to the nickname. Sam is the last remaining prince of Tamarind, but he can never inherit the throne, for Tamarind is a matriarchal society. With his mother ill and his grandmother nearing the end of her reign, Sam is left with two choices, to marry or to find a cure for the sickness that has plagued his mother for 10 long years. When a childhood companion returns from exile, she brings with her something he has not felt in a very long time, hope. But HenryThe and Sam are not the only ones searching for the dragon fruit, and as they battle enemies both near and far, there is another danger they cannot escape, that of the dragon fruit itself.
That sounds so good. So
this is based on Pacific Islander myths, sorry. Not specific, Pacific. Pacific Islander myths as well. Yeah.
So it comes out on the 9th of May. All right, pre-ordering.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that one. So next one's got a little romance. How to End a Love Story, Yulin Kuang. Helen Zhang hasn't seen Grant Shepherd once in the 13 years since the car wreck that killed her sister tied their lives together forever. Now a best-selling author, Helen pours everything into her career. She's even scored a coveted spot in the writer's room of TV adaptations of her popular adult novels, and if she can hide her imposter syndrome and overcome her writer's block, surely the rest of her life will fall into place too. LA is the fresh start she needs. After all, no one knows her there, except Grant has done everything in his power to move on from the past, including building a life across the country, and while the panic attacks have never quite gone away, he's well liked around town as a screenwriter. He knows he shouldn't have taken the job on Helen's show, but it will open doors to developing his own projects that he can't pass up. Grant's exactly as Helen remembers him, charming, funny, popular, and lovable in ways that she's never been. And Helen's exactly as Grant remembers too, brilliant, beautiful, closed off. But working together is messy and electrifying, and Helen's parents, who have never forgiven Grant, have no idea he's in the picture at all. When secrets come to light, they must reckon with the fact that theirs was never meant to be any kind of love story, and yet the key to making peace with their past and themselves might just lie in holding on to each other in the present. So they're like trauma bonded.
Trauma bonded.
Trauma.
That sounds quite fun.
That sounds like a different twist in these stories. So next one, funny story, Emily Henry.
Of course.
I quite like Emily Henry. You've read a few of hers, haven't you?
I like Emily Henry, yeah.
Daphne always loved the way her fiancé Peter told their story, how they met on a blustery day, fell in love over an errant hat, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He was really good at telling it, right up until the moment he realised he was actually in love with his childhood best friend, Petra. Which is how Daphne begins her new story, stranded in a beautiful waning bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian that barely pays the bills, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex, Miles Nowak. I wonder what will happen. Scruffy,
you'll never know.
and chaotic, with a penchant for taking solace in the sounds of heartbreak love ballads, Miles is exactly the opposite of the practical, buttoned-up Daphne, whose co-workers know so little about her, they have a running bet that she's either FBI or in witness protection. The roommates mainly avoid one another until one day, while drowning their sorrows, they form a tenuous friendship and a plan. If said plan also involves posting deliberately misleading photos of their summer adventures together, well, who could blame them? But it's all just for show, of course, because there's no way Daphne would actually start her new chapter by falling in love with her ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, right?
Ex-fiance's new fiance's ex. Oh my gosh. Right.
That's kind of good. I mean, these are.
I mean, it's
those stories are what they say on the tin.
You know what you're getting, and it's great.
Romances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Approved.
I
will be reading at some point.
Oh yeah, I definitely will read that. Okay. How are we doing? Oh, we're doing good for time. All right. So our next one is The Return of Ellie Black, Emiko, Jean. So this is a thrillery mystery one. So this one's for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 20 years since Detective Chelsea Calhoun's sister vanished when they were teenagers, and ever since she's been searching for signs, for closure, for other missing girls, but happy endings are rare in Chelsea's line of work. Then a glimmer. Local teenager Ellie Black, who disappeared without a trace 2 years earlier, has been found alive in the woods of Washington State. But something is not right with Ellie. She won't say where she's been or who she's been protecting, and it's up to Chelsea to find the answers. She needs to get to the bottom of what happened to Ellie, for herself and for the memory of her sister, but mostly for the next girl who could be taken and who, unlike Ellie, might never return. So this is a debut as well.
That sounds good.
It's a twisty page turner that will shock you right up until the final page.
I am in my thriller era.
So yeah, I've sprinkled some in for you.
Thank you.
It's a little bit for me, a little bit for you.
I used to be so like, I hate thrillers, but now I'm kind of...
You're back on it.
Back on it, yeah. I've been reading some good ones.
Well, it's just because it's not the same 3 white blokes are writing them. We're getting some new authors.
Yeah, and I think I've had a big enough break that the authors can surprise me.
Better left unsent. Leah Lewis or Louise?
Take your pick.
I just put this one in because it gave me To All the Boys I Loved Before vibes.
Oh.
Just in the concept.
Yeah.
I didn't actually read the description, but the concept gave me those vibes. I haven't read the books.
Times. Oh, they're really
but
fun.
I really like the series.
If you can do the audio, I would recommend.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
really fun, yeah. But
I
yeah,
wonder
the
what
films
that's
are
on.
great, aren't
I
they?
love the films. You can tell the point they switched from a
female
female to male director though, you can tell.
Yeah, it's not quite as good.
But I love those films.
It's like with the Twilight films. Like the
Yeah.
first film is always going to be the best because it was just someone who got the source material.
Yeah. 2 years ago, 30-year-old receptionist Millie Chandler had her heart spectacularly broken in public. Ever since, she has chosen to be a closed book, vowing to keep everything to herself, her feelings, her truth, even her dreams, in an effort to protect herself from getting hurt again. But Millie does write emails, sarcastic replies to her rude boss, hard truths to her friends, and of course that 1,000-word love declaration to her ex who is now engaged to someone else. The emails live safely in her drafts, but after a server outage at work, Millie wakes up to discover that all her emails have been sent. Every single one.
Okay, now I get
Yeah.
yeah.
As every truth, lie and secret she's worked so hard to keep only to herself are catapulted out into the open, Millie must fix the chaos her words have caused and face everything she's ever swept under the carpet.
That
and then this bit is a bit of waffle about the author.
That sounds good.
It gave me like
again,
a dull
sorry?
P.S. I love you vibes. Leah Louise,
Okay,
spelled
that sounds
Lia.
really fun. That sounds good.
And the cover's like the cute cartoony style covers there.
Oh, I like that. That's a really good picture.
Are you seeing all this bullshit on TikTok at the moment?
Oh, people
About
complain
the spicy
cartoon
books and they've
covers.
got cartoon covers.
People just love to complain about stuff. More than me.
It's just like, anyone could walk in and pick that up. A child could. And I'm like,
Why is a child picking up a book that's
why
an
is your
adult
child
book?
in the young adult section? I know it says young adult, but it says adult in the name. Why are you letting them just riffle through and pick stuff? I mean, this reminds you, because I worked in a gaming store, and there was a 7-year-old buying GTA 5.
Well, trying to, I'm guessing.
Well, mum was buying it.
Oh, Mum.
And I said to the mum, was like, is this for him?
Because, are you dumb?
And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I can't sell this to you because you've just told me you're buying this for a minor.
Yeah.
And it's an 18 plus.
Also, what's your problem?
And she was like, but I'm his mum and I'm the one buying it. And I was like, you've literally just... She was like, but you tricked me. And I was like, well, the reason I'm asking is because you can, like, fuck a prostitute in this game. So I feel like maybe not for your 7-year-old.
Maybe...
Obviously, the
maybe
child was not there
reconsider.
at the point I said that quite so bluntly.
Maybe not.
And she was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I was like, why with a game like GTA 5?
buying
Why would
it?
you not be Googling the content? It's 18 plus for a reason, babe.
People just...
Like, even gratuitous violence would be enough to be like, maybe not for my 7-year-old. Let alone everything else you can do in that game.
Yep. Agreed.
And I refused the sale and she made a complaint about me.
Ah.
I was like,
And were they like, oh, yes, the prostitute argument?
well, so many parents would, like, openly be telling me they're buying a game for a minor that's an 18 plus. And I'm like, You do know I can't sell it to you now.
Yeah, I worked at Game Station and then Game. I had the exact same thing. Yeah.
And I used to, like, the other guys would let it go, and I'm like,
No.
I feel like there's just certain lines we should draw, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's there for a reason.
Anyway. So, this is another one with some names in that I'm not going to be able to pronounce, and I apologise in advance. I did not have the time to do some research. Goddess of the River by Vaishnavi Patel. I'm hoping that's right. The cover for this looks beautiful.
That's what I wanted to look at, the cover.
The cover is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
A mother and a son, a goddess and a prince, a curse and an oath.
I was going to say, is that the author of Kaiki? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a similar sort of artwork.
Yeah.
Lovely.
A river whose course will change the fate of the world. Ganga, joyful goddess of the river, serves as a caretaker to the mischievous godlings who roam her banks. But when their antics incur the wrath of a powerful sage, Ganga is cursed to become mortal, bound to her human form until she fulfills the obligations of the curse. Though she knows nothing of a mortal life, Ganga weds King Shantanu and becomes a queen, determined to regain her freedom no matter the cost. But in the cruel turn of fate, just as she is freed from her binding, she is forced to leave her infant son behind. Her son, Prince Devavarati, unwittingly carries the legacy of Ganga's curse, and when he makes an oath that he will never claim his father's throne, he sets in motion a chain of events that will end in a terrible and tragic war. As the years unfold, Ganga and Devavarati are drawn together again and again, each confluence another step on the path that has been written in the stars. In this deeply moving and masterful tale of destiny, duty, destiny, and the unwavering bond between mother and son.
That sounds very good.
This one is also based on real myths and stories.
Yeah.
From that part of the world.
That sounds really cool. I really want to read their other book. So, also I want to read that one now.
I mean, yeah, the swirly bits and the flowers and the colours are so pretty. Yes, I was picking things because of the covers.
Yeah, do judge a book by its cover. Otherwise, why do they have cover designers?
Exactly. Okay, I think this is another one I sprinkled in for you.
Oh.
Oh no, this is a both of us one.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, this is a both of us one. 5 broken blades, my Corland. The king of Yusan must die. The 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the god king June. I don't know why that took me a second. Yeah. My brain was like Schwan, and I was like, wait, those are not the letters on the page.
I'm looking at something completely different.
Schwan. He has it coming. Under his merciless, immortal hand, the nobles flourish, while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery. But for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they have to find a way to trust each other. But only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win.
Ooh.
So this is tags of fiction, fantasy and romance. And I'm not sure where the fantasy is from that description. But
the fact that there's...
maybe they're magical.
Swords on the cover?
Okay.
Yeah, I think people just tend to write fantasy for anything that's not contemporary now,
broad,
don't they?
Yeah. Well, they know it draws in people as well. Because it's becoming...
Yeah, but you have to remember, authors, that fantasy readers are also very vocal if it's wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is... this is the one for you. It's a thriller one. The Unwedding, Ali Condie.
Interesting.
It's a debut author again.
Oh,
I don't know how I've actually found quite a few debuts, but I'm happy about it.
Good.
Ellie Wainwright is alone at the edge of the world. She and her husband, Luke, were supposed to spend their 20th wedding anniversary together at the luxurious resort at Broken Point in Big Sur, California. Where better to celebrate a marriage, a family, and a life together than one of the most stunning places on Earth? but now she's travelling solo. To add insult to injury, there's a wedding at Broken Point scheduled during her stay. Ellie remembers how it felt to be on the cusp of everything new and wonderful, with a loved and certain future glimmering just ahead. Now she isn't certain of anything except for her love for her kids, and her growing realisation that this place, though beautiful, is unsettling. When Ellie discovers the body of the groom floating in the pool in the rain, she realises that she's not the only one whose future is no longer guaranteed. Before the police can reach Broken Point, a mudslide takes out the road to the resort, leaving the guests trapped. When another guest dies, it's clear something horrible is brewing. Everyone at Broken Point has a secret. Everyone has a shadow, including Ellery. Oh, I wonder if that's a bit unreliable narrator kind of thing.
That I would really appreciate if Libra FM did that as one of their audiobooks, because I think that'd be good as an audiobook. I like my thrillers as audios.
Probably get a lot more of that sort of creepiness.
It's a bit more immersive, yeah. And I can't flick back to like remind myself of something, which I think really adds to the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could, because I always listen to audios while doing other things. So I don't know. I tend not to pick books I want to concentrate on for that. Actually, no, the ones I listen to while driving would be okay. Because although I'm doing things, there's not much else for my brain to focus on. Yeah. Because it's like all just driving-y things.
Beep, beep, beep.
45-minute commute. Handy. For listening to books. Alright.
Or new Taylor Swift albums.
Yeah. You just need to go for, like, have fun excuse to have a really long drive by yourself.
2.5 hours the album takes.
Where can you find an excuse to drive to that's like just over an hour, and then you could drive an hour back? Got to think of something.
Go to like Milton Keynes or something.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was like, I'm going to treat myself to, I was having a stressful day. I mean, that's every day. I'm going to treat myself to a visit to the library, right? Because I had to drop off some books and I wanted to do a browse. So my partner was at work and I didn't want to take baby girl because she runs amok around the library. So I waited till he got home from work, and then it was literally like 20 minutes till I had to pick up my son. So I was like, fine, I'll wait. So once I've picked him up, I'm going to leave both kids with you and I'm going to go to the library. And then when I got home, I was like, right, I'm going now. And my son was like, where are you going? And I said, the library. And he's like, I want to come.
It's like, Mommy doesn't want you to. She loves you, but no.
And then my daughter was like, I don't want to be left on my own. And then my partner was like, well, that's mean because you wanted some time by yourself. So I guess I'll have to come as well. So you don't have to do it with all the kids by yourself. So yeah, anyway.
Did you get to have solo wandering time?
I went in the lift. By myself.
Yeah, I've got another one of my weirdo solo holidays coming up soon. One of the
I'm Joe.
The people I work with, where they're like a bit different in age to me. This is like a very weird concept to them, some of them. And I was talking to one of them in the lunchroom about it. And I was like, I really enjoy it. I was like, because I've done a lot of travelling, so that part of it doesn't stress me out doing it on my own. Yeah. I was like, I'm quite happy in my own company. I just literally...
It really depends on how much you hate yourself, I think.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, they don't want to find out.
I think...
They don't want to risk it.
I think it was very good for me when I started doing it to spend 7 days staring into my own brain.
Yeah.
Because I didn't always have such a good relationship with my own... about myself. And it was like, spend 7 days with me. I'm actually all right.
I think I would come back the opposite. If I came back at all.
And like, because I do the pet sitting as well, which is like, again, same places by myself, where either I'm at work or I'm staring at my own face. I don't know. I think I've been forced to confront my own brain quite a lot.
Making yourself look in mirrors all the time.
I mean, I don't literally stand there like a budgie. Like staring at my own face. Hi. That's my sister Flo. She's crazy.
The cat's asking for food and you're like, shh, I'm looking at myself. Oh.
I think it's good to be trapped with your own thoughts, even if they're not nice thoughts, because then, you know, you have to learn how to deal with them. Within reason.
I don't have the time or the energy for the fallout of looking at my own thoughts. So I've not spoken to my thoughts for quite some time. Oh, I guess I had counselling.
Yeah.
That was depressing.
But that was speaking your thoughts to another person.
Yeah. Anywho.
Anyway, sprinkle of trauma. Let's carry on. This is another big romance author, not in love, Ali Hazelwood.
Oh.
This is another sciencey one.
She's back on her STEMinist stuff.
Yeah. It's not listed as a STEMinist one, but it is set in the scientific world again. Okay.
Have you read Bride yet?
No, I'm going to take it on holiday with me.
Oh, cool.
I reckon that'd be a great holiday read.
That would be a really good one, yeah. And then take some of your romances. I think you just.
I made my list. I'll tell you it in a second. I made my list of what I'm taking.
Oh yeah.
Because I need this fucking holiday. And I was like, you know what would make me feel good about the holiday coming up? I was like, I'm going to make the list of what books I'm taking.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Some people pack early. Some people make book lists. So Rue Siebert might not have it all, but she has enough. A few friends she can always count on, the financial stability she yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a biotech engineer at Klein, one of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Alright, bitch, sure enough.
Calm down.
Her world is stable, pleasant, and hard fought, until a hostile takeover and its offensive, attractive frontman threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Eli, that's obviously a dude. Eli Kilgore.
Ellie.
Why do they always have such aggressive names, her men? Like, it's obviously
because they're big manly men.
I'm going to be grumpy and surly and gigantic.
I'm a lumberjack.
I look like a lumberjack, but I'm actually a businessman doing business things.
Business.
And Eli Kilgore and his business partners want Klein, period. Eli has his own reasons for pushing this deal through, and he's a man who gets what he wants, with one burning exception. Rue.
Business. Oh.
He gets business. His whole job is business.
Doesn't get women. What an alpha bro.
The woman he can't stop thinking about, and the woman who's off limits to him. Torn between loyalty and an undeniable attraction, Rue and Eli throw caution out the lab and the boardroom windows. Their affair is secret, no strings attached, and has an inbuilt... I see your hand, I'm ignoring you. Has an inbuilt deadline. The day one of their companies will prevail. But the heart is risky business, one that plays for keeps. What?
Why can't they be together again? Because they work together.
No, because his company is trying to buy out her company. So he's a rival.
Why did I get so confused? It's because I would just have business on the brain.
Business. He's a business. What a distinguished gentleman. I don't know if I told you about this already. So I watched this 2-hour breakdown of the first book in the Twisted series. Twisted Love.
Yeah, you did mention that, yeah.
Oh my god, but it was just so funny of her, the way she talked about the main guy in it. Alex Volkov, I think his name is, I can't remember. But she was like, he just does business. Don't worry about what business is. He's just so good at business.
Was that, what's her name?
The girl with the glasses who does on TikTok the most likely to be divorced list.
Yeah. I know who you mean, yeah.
I actually don't always like
her.
her.
Lexi? No.
I can't remember her name. It's really bad. I don't always enjoy her TikToks that much, but her 2-hour breakdown of this, I was loved it.
Enthralled.
And then I watched another one that was the breakdown of Credence, because that's one I've always been like, I might read that.
Penelope Douglas?
Yeah. I'm not going to read it anymore, thanks to her breakdown, because I was like, right, I feel like I know enough.
Is that the one with the stepdad and the stepsons and the uncles?
The step incest, essentially.
Yeah.
It's very clear they're not biologically related.
Sure.
But she is adopted by him as a minor after her parents die. And nothing happens till she's 18.
Of course not.
But she's all woman now. Yeah.
Yeah, but don't they just, like, live in the woods or something?
Yeah, they live in the mountains, and if for winter they get cut off from society.
So surely they believe... What is this, Anne Frank? So surely they believe that she's a woman once her menses start. Oh, that word.
Ew. Yeah, no, she gets adopted at 17.
Sorry, at 17?
Yeah,
So
and turns 18 throughout the book, and nothing happens until she's 18.
So they adopted her to have sex with her?
Apparently not.
Well, yeah, because she's 17.
So it's the not biologically related stepbrother of her dad.
Yeah.
Who they hated each other.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because of the stuff.
But now there's some vagina they need to get along with.
Yeah, and also the brothers, who are biologically related, have threesomes with her.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember finding out about that book and I was like, I don't need to read that.
I was going to read it out of sheer curiosity, even though it's a bit long, because it ends up on a lot of lists. But I think it's one of those ones TikTok has lied about. From that breakdown, I was like, yep, I know this isn't for me. This is abusey vibes. Not, that doesn't...
Yeah. No.
I get dark fantasy is dark fantasy, but certain things I just don't want to read about. It's not for me. Nothing wrong if it is for you. Just don't want to read about it.
I think the things that give dark fantasy and stuff a bad name is those books like that try and masquerade as not dark fantasy, and then they come out of the blue and they're like, whopper, incest!
Well, also for the storyline, there was no reason for her to be 17, 18, which is what this breakdown says. She's
it's
like,
just because they wanted to do the adoption bit.
It adds nothing to the story.
But she could have just been a cleaner that was there and got...
Or we could still have the gross incesty angle, if that's the dark fantasy angle they've gone for.
Yeah.
But she didn't need to be 17, 18.
No.
Because we've already got one kind of forbidden romance. We don't need another.
No.
So she could have been 21, even. Still young for it to be icky, but not so young. And it could have been family passes away. She still needs someone to take care of her because she's 21. She could be in university or starting her first job. There's all sorts of, shouldn't need to be added nothing to the story as far as I could tell from this breakdown. Sorry, I've distracted myself, guys. But I recommend, if you can find her, I cannot remember her name and I don't feel bad about that. But these two breakdowns of these books, I was like, this was quite good.
I'll do a quick search.
And they are not super long. Some of these breakdowns of books are like 5 fucking hours long. I'm not watching that.
Love it.
I'm not watching that. 2 hours is my absolute limit, and it's while I'm working, and it's mostly background noise, but somewhat entertaining background noise about books I never intend to read. Trying to find a haunting Adeline.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a breakdown of that, less than 2 hours. Couldn't find one.
People got a lot to say.
It's like 3-4 hours long, and I'm like, I can't do it.
You could do it in a couple of sittings.
Oh, no.
All right, opposite to me.
So we've got 2 more left, and we're doing quite good for time, despite the tangents.
Lexi, aka Newly Nova, is her name on YouTube. And I will have a look at what she's called.
But she does. She kicks a list of their crimes, and they're so funny.
Oh, she does. Yeah, because she's got the boards, doesn't she? Yeah, she's called Newly Nova on TikTok. There we go. Yeah, she does that trope jail.
Yeah.
Love her.
Anyway. So we've got 2 more left. Next one is One of Our Kind by Nicola Yoon. Stepford Wives meets Get Out.
She's got a new book coming out.
Yep, this is one I put in for you.
I love Nicola Yoon.
Alright, let's do the description.
Sorry, I'm a bit excited, aren't I? Didn't think she still wrote books.
I did wonder if you'd recognise some of these authors. Okay. When Jasmine and King Williams move their family to the planned Black Utopia of Liberty, California, they hope to find a community of like-minded people, a place where their growing family can thrive. King settles in at once, embracing the Liberty ethos, including the Lux Wellness Centre at the top of the hill, which proves to be the heart of the community. But Jasmine struggles to find her place. She expected to find liberals and social justice activists striving for racial equality, but Liberty residents seem more focused on booking spa treatments and ignoring the world's troubles. Jasmine's only friends in the community are equally perplexed and frustrated by Liberty's outlook. a frustration that turns to dread when their loved ones start embracing the liberty way of life. As Jasmine learns more about liberty and its founders, she discovers a terrible secret that threatens to destroy her world in ways she never could have imagined.
Yeah, I will read that.
Ooh, Stepford Wives meets Get Out is a really good description of that, I feel.
Yeah.
Okay. Our last one.
Was it a YA? She usually writes YA.
The tags are fiction, horror, thriller, dark, mysterious, tense, medium paced.
Oh, it might be an adult one. Cool. Sorry.
Yeah.
She did that Everything. Have you seen the film with that?
No. Do I have the book of that?
Maybe. And she also wrote The Sun is also a star.
Oh, that author.
Yeah.
I've had that one saved in a wish list forever. That Sun is also a star.
She is married to David Yoon, who is the author of Frankly in Love, which I reviewed last year, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think they've got a book coming out together as well at some point.
Interesting.
Yeah, there we go then.
Okay, our last one. And this is a June one, if I remember rightly. So we've gone... So it was sort of Q2 releases. So this is like April to June.
Yeah.
For those who don't work in a corporate world and don't need to know what the quarters are. So this is Lovers and Liars by Amanda Eyre Ward. Cleo is the golden child, a successful criminal defence lawyer with the perfect boyfriend. She is immediately suspicious of Simon. Is he really who he says he is? Cleo heads to the Mumberton Castle with a case of investigative files. Telling her herself she will expose Simon and save her sister from more heartbreak. I feel like we're missing a connection here that her sisters are going to this castle to get married. Which I only know because I've read another description of this. But who is she really trying to save? Emma is living a lie. She can't afford this fancy trip and she definitely can't tell her husband and sons why. She once dreamt of a line of her own perfumes. Fragrances allowed to her to speak in silence. Now that tendency for silence only worsens her situation. Will she emerge with her dignity and family intact? When their toxic mother-in-law shows up, the sisters assume the roles they fell into to survive their childhood. Not mother-in-law, fucking hell. Toxic mother. Just inventing words. They fell into the roles they fell into to survive their childhood, but they just might find the courage to make new choices. To set over a spectacularly dramatic weekend in the grand halls of a sprawling castle estate, amidst floor-to-ceiling libraries, falconry lessons and medieval meals, Lovers and Liars is the unforgettable story of a family's ability to forgive and to find joy in one another again. Interesting.
Sounds good.
That is our only contemporary one.
Well, that was a nice way to finish it off with a
So yeah, sprinkled in a contemporary.
That was good. That was a good selection you had there.
Yeah, I tried to sort of shake up the genres a little bit. But also, effort.
You did really well at shaking it up.
Yeah, I tried. Tried a little bit. Still fairly biased to our taste, but you know, we're in charge here. It's our world.
It's the only thing we can control.
A world of chaos. All we have is this podcast.
Yes, as Tony said, at some point coming up we will do an indie version of this as well. So if you have any indie books you want to suggest or recommend, please let us know wherever. It's too late now to join in with our March, April buddy read, but by the time this has come out, we will have shared what our May, June buddy read is. So please come and join us if you haven't already. You come chat to us about it on our Facebook group, which is just Lazy Book Lovers Podcast. Yep. Join our Discord, which will be linked everywhere, and have a chat. Or if you want to support us in a more financial way, on our Ko-fi, you can join up and donate there, and then you get a separate Discord channel. So yeah, and follow us all the places, share, download, etc. Do all the good
it all
things,
helps
please,
with the algorithms that we must obey.
Thank you for spending time with us today. We know your time is precious and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.